starts at 4:30.
Oh,
So I'm going to be late for it, but this way I get here.
so.
Well,
And there's parking around the corner.
And Teresa is going to be here for Scott.
yes.
I know. I went back and I think it was actually pretty
How are you?
How's all about fun?
Good fun. Taking names. Got a really great house tour. Raised a lot of PMP, and we're to do some fluff up some of our public spaces. This. So, yeah, so doing a lot of stuff. We just had the art dedication a couple days ago. And so we have 3 down, 2 more to go. Let's see when that happens.
It's pretty good.
We're pretty happy. We're pretty happy. I mean, when we thought, it was like one, but it would be great if we could get a bunch of them, and that was the vision. There's a bunch, but if you look at it, the 2 second ones are closer to Palm Canyon, so there's kind of this. So whether the Art Council helps us, swell. If it doesn't, and maybe we do it ourselves, and then we gotta. It's squeezing. But they're also pretty big bang for the buck because they're not expensive. I mean, they're expensive, but other pieces of art are 150 for one piece, and here, for 125, we got 5.
Well, what we really should be, and I don't know how to do this, should be a much. I know somebody tried to do an act. Should be a public art. Because that way, I don't know, to me it's will arrange.
Yes, a lot of spare time.
Because that actually brings so much more attention to all the different neighborhoods.
I'll do the art tour the next time. This time, what we're doing.
I mean, do a citywide public art.
I like it. But
a citywide public art.
Oh, that sounds good.
This is our. Usually we do a house tour right in the fall, but we're going to do a historical walking tour. So the theater hopefully will be O'Donnell's open. Dolphins will be played in October. The American Legion, have you ever been there? Yeah, it's kind of neat. Temple Isaiah was, they have morning services. I know Friday night. Saturday morning they do.
Now they may not have the real mid-century one. Yeah.
Toward them.
That was the original one, right?
The center sanctuary. Well, I think the one looking up on the mountain.
The other one, I think.
The more.
But yeah, so they probably have Saturday morning prayers.
Yeah, and so it was kind of on my wish list.
What time is it?
Well, it was kind of Saturday, 10, 9.
Oh, they may not want to going through
It was kind of my wish list, so I mean, replace or something. Yes. Museum. I've never seen the inside of the women's museum or the women's club. Is that anything? Okay.
Or there's also the architecture design.
Yeah.
One.
What I'm trying to do is kind of keep the walking moderate, not too long.
You got more technology, but the but actually, honestly, have you been to Sabine Louise behind us?
No.
So behind us, in the courtyard, is sort of on the other side of the tiny little building. It's an old Wexler house.
Okay.
That's been restored.
Right.
It's like an upscale, it's like a clothing store. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
I mean, and she set the whole interior looks like an old song. She's only open on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's beautiful. German, French,
Right.
interesting, but they've got like lots of lots of
It was funny. I worked for EF. I was a national product group manager, and I knew I went to Palm Springs, but I couldn't remember where I was the first time. It was actually the second time I was here in town. This was when I was a kid out of New York, and I visited the EF Hutton office, and I still had, I'm driving around, and I kind of assumed it was Toronto.
It's Donald Wexler and
Okay, right behind your.
right behind it, yeah, yeah.
I'll check it out.
It's called Sabine Louise, and it's just it's a beautiful space.
It's cool.
No chairs in the front house.
Let's get you a chair.
Hi.
Last time no one took one, so.
You want one? Let's get one to table. Update any? He gets one on the.
Hi, how are you? I'm gonna leave one of these for everyone. Because not you all.
Do you have here and share it? Do you have this as a online?
Yes, it's on the Cities Engage Palm Springs
Okay.
website.
I'll share it on our Instagram.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It was a real push. This kind of weather makes you want to just fall into bed.
I tried, laid down, the phone kept ringing. Doesn't matter. You did such a good job.
What happened if you saw Obama? Say Mr. Hello, Mr. Obama.
Change the, because he has to go to another meeting.
Okay. I never know the order.
Yeah, they keep changing it.
Thanks for coming to
Want to flip a coin? I have a birthday if I go to county New York, like at 6. I'll be like, I grew up in hey guys, go pick up.
Okay. Fabulous. Yeah, I was up right near the Harbor.
Really
A long time ago. Well, I got out of there before that. It was until I was 17. It was like, Let's see.
There are ones that really keep people ever been to. For me,
Raw.
It's good. It's funny when I'm talking about my days of musical.
If I was invited, I'd be someone off. I just went on.
I don't stop. I was
Wasn't she amazing?
No. Sunday night. Well, I used to be lunch and then I got chicken. And that is one that I would particularly go to David Lee or somebody else. Oh, I see just posted. Oh, wow. Very, very nice. Some of them are, I grew up with her, but I couldn't actually know that rhythm and
Hello. Where is everybody? I know.
They're hiding. It's
The
raining.
Mayor Emeritus said it was the rain, but I don't know. I think it's raining on the mountain. All right, well, welcome to March. And we are going to, well, please don't forget to check in. This isn't really working. Check in with Slido, please. There's going to be a change to the agenda because Councilmember Bernstein has to go to a very important meeting. We appreciate him being here, as is Teresa Gallivan representing the city manager. So we'll have them go before a whole bunch of other ad hoc comments and the rest of the agenda. So with that, if I get approval of this agenda. Thank you, sir. Second. Any opposed? Never. Thank you. All right. All right, Mr. Bernstein, please.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate everybody letting me go early because I do have to leave. Couple things from council meetings since we last met. We had the downtown parking study update, which if everybody saw was kind of very interesting. Our city is actually overparked, but there are some really important issues making time limits on some of the main streets, on making our parking garages more accessible, and on wayfinding. So we gave direction to staff to come back with an implementation plan. So that happened. We also had approved $9 million for Measure J, the final money for street paving. And all of the streets now are on, you should find them on Engage Palm Springs, which streets are being paved, both a listing and a map. So it's probably the #1 question we get on council is, when is my street being paved? So check that out first and make sure you share that. We also had our Parks and Rec master plan. We have Nick here, but it was a very comprehensive 100+ page document on what we have, where the needs are, what areas don't have parks, a lot of facts and figures on how the community uses them, what they like, what we need more of. And this is really, Nick can probably explain more, is really like a guiding document for the Parks and Rec department and for the city for moving forward. But that also sits on Engage Palm Springs for everyone to look for. So it's a lot of interesting stuff there to see. The big thing we're working on right now is our budget. We just had our mid-year budget review that happened in the meeting in February. So some highlights, you've probably seen some press. Our mid-year forecast is that we're going to be about $3.2 million short versus what we actually had budgeted. However, that's not quite accurate potentially, or we are cautiously optimistic. And the reason is this: we had predicted that sales tax in December would be 5% down. When we finally got the sales tax numbers, which happens 2 months later, we were actually 13% up for December. We also, if you look at our TOT, which is the hotel tax, which is our biggest single revenue stream, we were down last summer, but December and November were above last year. So if we actually keep up the November-December trend, we will be pretty good for the rest of the year. And I have heard just recently that January was actually a record January in TOT, which is great news for the city. So we're cautious. We're going to still assume that we are going to have a shortfall, and we'll update ourselves monthly. But if we keep up with the trend from the last couple months, we'll be sort of even with what we budgeted. So that is good news. Couple other things that should help. The Thompson Hotel has opened their second half. So they are fully opened, 168 rooms, and they're doing gangbusters, which is great. And also the Plaza Theater. I don't know if people have seen it, but they have now announced 20 dates already. They're going to be announcing, I think, 3 a week for the next 2 months. They actually have them already scheduled, but it's when they actually announce them. December should be pretty much booked every single night. So I mentioned this before. I know Joy is here because I saw Joy. Where's she? Oh, there she is, all the way in the corner. So we're going to start working on Palm Springs holidays. I'm going to attribute our good December TOT and sales tax to the Palm Springs Holidays program. But this has traditionally been number 7 in our TOT and number 5 or 6 month of sales tax in a year, which that means to me, there's a lot of potential to increase that. And the Plaza Theater should help tremendously because we do great for Thanksgiving, and then the city sort of dies for, it sort of quiets down for a few weeks, and Christmas Day, everything gets busy again. But I think this year we're going to see all of December be sort of busy downtown, both for residents and for visitors. So look for that. The other thing which you'll see, and we've done this the last few budgets, we've done 2 or 3 recently, hotel incentive improvement programs. And what the city does is the hotels say, if we invest in upgrading our hotel, we tell them that we will give them a rebate on their increase in TOT to potentially equal to 50% of what they put into it. So we saw the Dunes Hotel, I don't know if anyone knows that one, on Indian Canyon. They just invested $8 million in their hotel. So it's a 130 room hotel. I think we're seeing a few hundred hotel rooms being renovated in the last year, and then more coming up. So that also is good for our TOT and also good for the customer experience, or the visitor experience. So a couple things also on council. We have done our first stab at rewriting the Human Rights Commission ordinance. For those of you who don't know, the first ordinance was actually written in the 1960s. And it was a very socially profound period of time. I think it was Frank Bogart led it, but there was addressing anti-Semitism, and he had Black America, the head of the First Baptist Church on the commission, and some other prominent residents. It was then in the 90s, there was another revision, and that really addressed LGBT rights. And this was before there was domestic partnerships recognized by the county or state, and obviously not the government, federal government, but Palm Springs did, and that has still held. So now we're looking at what this means going forward in terms of what are our values as a city that we want to instill and have solidified in our Human Rights Commission ordinance. So they had a first stab at council, and now the commission will continue to work on that while they do their regular business. This week, a little bit, there's not a lot on council this week. We're going to have a presentation from the animal shelter. If it's worth watching, for those of you who don't know, they do terrific work at our animal shelter. They're the area's only no-kill shelter. They are a third party that we contract with to operate the city's animal shelter. They are now working on other efforts. They're opening a wildlife center in Indio. They're probably going to, I think they're going to manage the Desert Hot Springs service. So we're very lucky. If you've seen the news, the county's animal shelter has struggled lately, and hopefully they will get upgraded. The more that the county upgrades theirs, that helps the other cities, the less pressure there will be on ours. So that's going to come up. You'll also see a couple of things on consent on the Beautiful Shade program from our Arts Commission, which I think is a really important project. For those of you who don't know, the Arts Commission is funded by developers. They pay into that when they do projects. So it's not a regular city fund. And they're specifically for public art. But they've been embarked on this program to do art that is also shade. And they're putting it in 2 of the parks. They're beautiful pieces. But I think as we look at more connectivity in our downtown, how to address the climate issues, using art as shade is something that becomes more important in our city. So that is coming up. The other thing that's going on right now, and the reason why I'm going to have to run soon, is we're really actively working on our convention center upgrade. And this is a potentially $100+ million upgrade. It is necessary to do in order to keep our convention center business. We're looking at different financing mechanisms, partly Measure J. For those of you who don't know, the downtown, the Measure J helped fund our downtown revitalization. That actually will be paid off in 10 years or 12 years, I think. We're also looking at other types of TOT and other things to help fund this and go through a design phase. And again, part of this will be all the connectivity with downtown, which will help all of our retail and restaurants. The other thing is, I think I've mentioned this before, I have an arts and culture roundtable of our arts and culture organizations. We are now looking at doing a 2026 Palm Springs Citywide Arts and Culture Festival, which would be fine art, music, theater, dance, film, all of that we have to offer in our city. So it's still in the planning stages right now. Coming up, we are going to get an update on the Navigation Center, which I think I mentioned before now has 65 beds filled. It's a slow process for various reasons, but it's been operating well. And also begin our library bond for the renovation of our library. And that's all my news. My only other comment is I know there's a lot of community meetings coming up and annual meetings. Try and let Denise know as early as possible to check on schedules in case you're conflicting with someone else. Yes.
Some questions from our Zoom viewers.
Hello, Zoom viewers.
Anything you want to say about Plaza Love Street or that egress space?
So we have settled with the restaurant. So they are going to be moving their patio that's on the side to the front of the theater. They are the tenant. And we are actively working with Grit on the finalization of the easement that they have to come up with a settlement. So we are still committed to getting this done so we can open the theater on December 1st.
And then about tourism, Canadian tourism, is there any metric?
This has come up a lot recently with Canadians saying they don't want to come here because of the way our government, federal government, may be making them feel, because of the value of the dollar, because of various reasons. We continue, especially through Visit Greater Palm Springs, which is our main marketing tool, to advertise and promote with our Canadian partners, our Canadian cities, our Canadian airlines. We are pushing this. It's a bit of a roller coaster that we're on these days because, it changes daily. I think Palm Springs has always been a welcoming city. We've relied on the Canadian tourists as all of tourism, and we're going to keep, double down on how we push and welcome everybody. Yes, sir.
Where can I find the parking study, please?
Is the downtown parking study on Engage Palm Springs yet? We will check. It was presented at council, so it's on a council agenda from February 13th, I think. So it's on, if you look at the council agendas, but if not, maybe Denise can put it on Engage Palm Springs. Anything else? Okay, sorry to speak and run, everybody, but thank you very much.
And next we'll have Teresa Gallivan, our Assistant City Attorney. Manager. I just promoted you. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, it's a pleasure to be here with you all and be able to share updates. Although I have to say, Councilmember Bernstein does such a great job. I think he hit most of the current ones, but I do want to share a few things with you. One is we are now recruiting for openings on a variety of committee, commissions, and boards. So if you are interested in any of the city's committee, commissions, and boards, right now we are accepting applications for vacancies. And there are vacancies on the Administrative Appeals Board, the Airport Commission, the Architectural Review Committee, the Historic Site Preservation Board, the Human Rights Commission, the Library Board of Trustees, the Measure J Commission, Parks and Recreation, Public Arts, Sustainability, and Village Fest. So if you've ever had an interest in serving on one of these committees, have been or watched one of their meetings, this is an opportunity to get more involved and serve your community. Applications are due by April 30th, and there is a form online, pretty easy to fill out and express your interests. Councilmember Bernstein mentioned a couple of projects, just a little more on the library project. We are continuing to move forward with that. We intend to bring something to council to take the construction documents out to bid and also proceed with bond financing, so we continue to move that along. The library team has been working very hard to find a temporary facility that will be great while we are under construction at the current facility, and look at ways that we can continue to have seamless services for you all while we continue to improve upon our facilities.
Will the entire library be closed during construction?
Yes, the entire library will be closed during construction, so we are looking at renting another facility where we will have, part of our collection accessible. We'll be able to continue to do programming, and then we may also be able to take mobile services to different areas. So we're really brainstorming on some opportunities there. The Wellwood also will continue to be of service, and we can do some more programming there.
How long is the construction period?
The construction period, we think, will be a couple of years. So that's an estimate at this point. We don't have a final, timeline, but we are looking at a couple of years. So it's no, we're still going out to bid, so I don't have an actual start date, but our goal would be probably in the next 6 months. Yeah, so moving forward, very exciting. More to come when we go to council next month and have more details. The Plaza Theater was mentioned. That's another big one. We're really working hard on to make sure that we make this deadline of the grand opening for December 1st. So Councilmember Bernstein gave you an update on that, but we're very excited about the announcement of the various performing arts groups that are going to be there. The Parks and Recreation Commission is super excited to have Nick with us. He's been here 2 months now. 3 months, okay, time flies. So very happy he's joined us, and he'll be giving you a presentation on the master plan. But I wanted to just note that in the short time, he has opened up the Barristo Park, a new playground there. So we're very excited about that. Yeah, I see many. Yes, big applause for him. Just good morning. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. And we will have a ribbon cutting to celebrate that in April, early April, so stay tuned for more information on that. We hope you'll come out and support. It's nice to see us making investments in the facilities that our residents use and visitors both use. Also with the Parks and Recreation, another major project that continues to move forward is pickleball, the pickleball courts. So that is currently out to bid, and we look to award a contract for construction on that project in April. And Nick has really been working hard to find alternate courts while that project is under construction, because it will be all the courts at once that are renovated. So we will have a temporary facility, that is our goal, while those are under construction. And I'm sure you can probably give more detail on that as well. Denise has done just an outstanding job of keeping us updated with Engage Palm Springs and with all of the road and circulation improvements that are going on here in Palm Springs. So thank you, Denise. Kudos to her. The Caltrans project on 111, they've moved all of that work to nighttime work, which really has helped with some of the challenges we had when it initially started out as daytime work. So that has been a huge improvement. We're happy to see. And that will go on through March, and the goal is for the project to be done by April, as I understand it, so. Councilmember Bernstein mentioned the airport master plan and that being approved, so we're now able to do environmental work. The CV Link project, that is supposed to be completed by this summer. And Councilmember Bernstein also mentioned the Thompson, which was very positive to have that completely opened, and what a success Modernism was. So we were all very happy to celebrate that and see so many people here in Palm Springs celebrating that and enjoying our city. So been a good, busy month.
All of CV Link in Palm Springs.
All of CV Link in Palm Springs is what I understand. That is, Denise, do you have it a little more?
I don't have a little more, but we can get more information on it.
Yeah.
I work on CV Link, so I can say yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Yes.
You mentioned recruiting for the boards and commissions.
Mhm.
And will be sending applications available online.
The city clerk's website, and it's also going to be available as of tomorrow morning on Engage Palm Springs.
The city clerk's website and Engage Palm Springs.
Yes.
Thank you.
City clerk's website and Engage Palm Springs. And I saw some social media feeds today as well. They had a QR code that you can scan to get also download the application. Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you to whoever it was that came up with the idea to move that construction to night.
I will pass that along.
Every driver.
I will definitely share that with the team. Scott will be glad to hear that. Thank you. Yes.
I understand that a lawsuit has been filed against the city on developing towards the mountains, trucking and some kind of a building that they're trying to build, and they're for development.
Oh, the warehouse, the distribution center.
I don't have an update on that, but we can look into that. Yeah, absolutely. I know there was an appeal, but it was, the planning commission's decision was upheld. I don't know if there's been a lawsuit since. We can check on that. Okay, thank you all. Pleasure being here this evening. Thank you.
All right, we will pick up our agenda where we'd normally be. That would be approval of the minutes of the February meeting. Can I have a motion to approve? Is there a second? Anybody opposed? Anybody read them? It's okay. All right, Patrick, they love them. Okay, always, it's always good. Anyone here tonight for the first time we've not seen before? Nobody new? Okay, we'll keep trying. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, what neighborhood are you? Racket Club. Great, thank you for coming. Tell a friend. Actually, this is, and this feels like a telethon. This is annual meeting month, as you know, the next 2 months. And Denise and I have already started making the rounds, and we're inviting everybody. Every first thing out of our mouth is, have you been to 1PS before? Have you ever heard of 1PS? So we're going to need a bigger room, but we're trying to invite more people to come and get more engaged. So prepare for the masses to attend, hopefully. That is actually going to lead to another question I wrote in myself. Who all is having a NORG meeting, an annual meeting coming up soon that hasn't happened? What neighborhood? Going to that? Good. Oasis del Sol. Little Tuscany. Canyon Sands. Palm Canyon. Upper West Side. Oh, yes, Movie Colony East. El Dorado.
But we're having an informational one. It's not, nobody's required to report.
Got it. Melody Ranch, I see. Denise, we have all that done? Okay. Well, it's fun because I get to go and hear what's going on, and sometimes people ask me a question or two. So thank you for having your meetings. It is one of those obligations, I guess, but we don't really enforce that. We want everybody to have a neighborhood meeting. So please, thanks for doing that. What else we got going on? Any hot topics, anything that's going on in your neighborhood we need to know about, that we don't know about? that we put on a future agenda? Nancy, you keep raising your hand. No, you're good. Yeah. All right. Ned, can you tell us real quickly, there's a convention coming to town, and I don't know enough to speak on it, but a board member can tell us more.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. In June, we had a presentation here, about 20 minutes. The city manager, Chief Mills, myself, and a couple other NORGs represented what they did with something called Safe Growth, and that was very positively received here. And Safe Growth, the core of that is CPTED, and if you don't remember, CPTED CPTED stands for Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. So it turns out that the ICA is the International CPTED Association, and they are having a conference here in May, and it's the United States and Canadian CPTED groups are getting together to have a conference in Palm Springs. And we have a couple of registrations available thanks to 1PS. If someone is interested in attending, and this is about a $500 registration. It's 3 days, 2 full days and 1 half day. And if you're interested, we'd like you to commit to going on May 12th and 13th and a half day on May 14th. There are 2 registrations open. And they are paid for courtesy of 1PS. And I'd like to know if there are any volunteers who are able to commit to those dates and would like to. Oh, okay, the great thing. We've got room for one more. Okay, I just want to say that there will be some volunteer opportunities too that we'll talk about a little later in another meeting or two as we get closer to May. Thank you very much.
All right, and another add-on, Josh Zipperman is here with zoning. Gets the award for the prettiest brochure tonight. Update on zoning.
All right, thank you, everyone. Part of the zoning team, part of the team working on the zoning code update for the city. The zoning code hasn't been updated in whole since 1988, so it's long overdue. And hopefully all of you have a flyer in front of you. We're going to be holding our 3rd round of community meetings coming up at the end of this month on the 31st at 5:30 p.m. at James O. Jesse, and on April 1st at 12 p.m. at Demuth Community Center. And the purpose of this meeting is to unveil our new zoning districts and our new zoning map. And so in that, we're really going to be looking for your feedback on how we can streamline the residential districts and zones, simplify things, make it easier to build more affordable and diverse housing. Also, we're going to be looking at how do we meet the general plan, and that includes allowing for further growth, and thus includes further looking at height in certain areas and density. So how can we increase height? I know that's a controversial subject, but how can we increase height in certain places? Where is it possibly appropriate and less controversial? And we'll also be simplifying some of the open zoning things in the zoning code. So this will be a really great meeting for everyone to get involved in and to attend if you haven't yet. There are flyers, hopefully you all have one, but if not, I have them in the back. And everything's on the Engage Palm Springs website as well. So if you have any questions, please let me know. The zoning code process we're looking to have it done about spring or summer of next year. So this is kind of a good time to jump in if you haven't been to one of our meetings yet. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you. We're only 3 minutes over time, so this is very good. Nick Gonzalez is our new Director of Parks and Recs and doing a bang-up job, and he's going to give us an update on this great plan we've been hearing. So please have lots of questions for Nick. Let me just pull this up. Did I pull it up? Great. I need to stand over here, right? Okay, cool.
All right, so good evening, everyone. As you all mentioned, I'm Nick Gonzalez. I'm your new Director of Parks and Recreation. I'm going to play the new card for a little bit, but I've been here for 3 months now. And I'm just really excited and thankful for you all to have me this evening so I can talk to you about our initiatives with the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So I'll give you an abbreviated version because the master plan is about 300 pages long. So I won't bore you with all the details, but give you kind of an update of some of the key highlights out of that. I do want to let you know is that we've embarked on this master plan because really the last one that we had done was completed in 2014. And so much has changed across the city and across trends in parks and recreation, especially since COVID, right? We saw a lot of things really come out of like people wanting to be outside and improve all of our park system and our amenities that we have going on out there. We hired a consultant in October of 2023 called KDI, where they really led all of our master plan efforts, worked with staff, worked with a lot of organizations and nonprofits all across the city to really put together this robust document. We tasked them with really analyzing our current park system the way it is, looking at all of our open spaces, our trails, our golf resorts, our recreation facilities themselves, and all of our programs and everything that we offer as part of the department. We presented this to the council at the February 13th City Council meeting, and that really gave them the opportunity to hear an update of where we are with the master plan, but it's not 100% finalized. We're at like 98% there. We're just going through some final assessment of the plan, and then we'll go ahead and move it forward for final approval. But as Councilmember Bernstein alluded to it earlier, this plan is really a guiding document. It's a visionary document that provides a roadmap for where we want to take the Parks and Recreation Department in the future over the next 10 years. And so just to give you an idea, if you didn't already know where the Parks and Recreation system lies today, is we have 11 parks that are associated all throughout the city. And those parks have different amenities, being that they have sports fields, there's social areas, there are different play areas and playgrounds, there's some water features or comfort, recreational spaces like picnic pavilions, things like that. And in total, we operate about 312 acres of parkland throughout the city. Majority of that is with the golf courses, but we factor that into our open and green space. We also have 7 facilities. These include our community centers, our swim center, our skate park, and the Palm Springs Stadium. Several trailheads all throughout the city that we manage, just the trailhead portion, not the actual trails themselves. And then of course, if you've attended and been to one of our facilities or our programs, we have a ton of programs that we operate. Lots of special events that we partner and operate with a lot of different organizations and nonprofits in town, and really just providing a lot of different community services and offerings for everybody. And of course, with that key effort in making sure that we are providing programming, robust programming for people of all ages, for them to thrive in this city. And what's really beautiful about this plan is that this plan is really centered around community. We took a lot of feedback from the community, making sure that every voice that wanted to participate in this process was heard. We held several workshops and focus groups, received comments through surveys and emails and things of that nature, and engaged really over 700 people as part of this master planning process, and took their feedback and really incorporated that into the overall master plan. And really what we saw when we gathered and looked at all of that feedback, there were several themes. We wanted to make sure that we were preparing for climate change and working with planning and sustainability and other city departments to make sure that we were prepared for that in our open space and our green space, and then also within our facilities. We also wanted to make sure that parks were just serving more than just people, right? We wanted to make sure that everybody coming in had something to do in our park, whether it was for them just to enjoy the open space and recreate, or play out in the ball field, or have their dogs come in our dog parks and run and play. And we really wanted to make sure that we were also providing stewardship and making sure that we were benefiting the community in providing really good open space and opportunity for them to thrive. And then also looking at areas throughout the communities where we didn't have parkland currently, right? And putting plans in place that we can build new parks in the future, especially with the new updates in zoning code, right? Making sure that we're incorporating that as part of the plan. And so as part of the master plan process, what we really looked at are two areas. We looked at the existing conditions of the social infrastructure throughout the city, the current park system, the way it lies, where there's parks all throughout the community, really mapping that in. And then also looked at future planning, looking at where those gaps are, making sure that we adequately appropriate that on a map so that we can visually see what neighborhoods, what target areas that we need to include for future park development. And I do want to point out, we're only talking about city-issued parks. I will show some maps and you may think, hey, I do have a park in my neighborhood, but those may be HOA parks that the city currently doesn't manage. We only look at city parks, and that's because obviously they are open to the public. We program them and we make sure that we're keeping up to date with trends and everything that are happening in our system. So to give you an idea, and I know this is really small, you can't see all the details in here, but this first map really talks about the social infrastructure throughout Palm Springs. We've outlined exactly all the parks that are surrounded all throughout the community. We've also pointed out where the schools are, where the museums and other cultural institutions lie in town. Of course, the golf courses, but also healthcare facilities, bike paths, things of that nature, and making sure that we get a full, complete picture of where all people can recreate and enjoy space are throughout the entire community. Another thing that we looked at really classifying are all the different types of parks, right? There are small mini parks. We have a wellness park, there's a civic park, there's large regional and community parks and golf courses, and really kind of getting a picture of like those large pieces of parkland, where they are across the community and where some areas throughout the city are deficient in some parkland as well. And then one thing that is really something that we are going to play a key focus on is where people have access to parks. And you can see out of that statistics here is that 34% of Palm Springs residents are within a 10-minute walking distance to a park. Now, the Trust for Public Land and the National Park and Recreation Association really are empowering cities to make sure that communities have at least a 10-minute walking access to a park, with setting a goal of 60% of your population to be able to walk to a nearby park. So we are well below that, but we're not in the worst case scenario, right? I mean, there's still a lot of different recreational areas and avenues that we can look to increase that, but here it kind of shows a heat map of where people are and those neighborhoods are in comparison to nearby park spaces. And what another space too that on this map that shows you park gaps. And these are areas that we're also going to be really focusing on figuring out how we can infiltrate into these community spaces to provide some type of recreational program, right? We're not going to build parks overnight. That's not going to happen. But what we can do is look at spaces all throughout the city of taking services to them. Like, is there a way in the future that we can generate a mobile recreation program, or we take some recreation program into neighborhoods that currently don't have a park in, or partner with other city departments such as a library on bringing services to neighborhoods that currently don't have access to a city facility. So this will be really key for us in the coming years as we work at implementing this master plan and figuring out how we can work with other communities, including your neighborhood organizations, and figuring out how we can partner together to bring more recreational services to areas that are underserved. Another big thing out of the master plan process is that everything's summarized into 6 major themes that are incorporated here. A couple of the themes are focusing on communicating the experience. We want to be able to share with everybody what we currently have to offer, enhance the cultural visibility that is happening all throughout the system, where people may not know of some of the services and the programs provided, is we will really focus on the user experience, on making sure everybody is well aware of everything that we do. We also want to make sure that we're connecting people and places, making sure that there are easy mobility options, whether it's through bike paths or even parking spaces in our nearby parks, so that people can easily get to our parks, get to our trailheads, and enjoy those open spaces. We also want to make sure that we're keeping it cool and climate resilient. Climate change is a thing, and we are well aware of that, and we are looking and making sure that are there ways that we can plant more trees in our parks, overall enhance the sustainability of the park system moving forward. We also want to renew the system, and this will be really key for us in the coming first couple of years as we embark in implementing the plan, is really focusing on the safety, the maintenance, the day-to-day operations of taking care of our park system and putting plans in place so that we create asset inventories and we put things on lifespans and life cycle replacement programs so that we get a better idea of like when we have to replace something in the nearby future rather than waiting for it to break and then replace it. We also want to make sure that we're stewarding the future and we're evaluating all of our programs, the way they are funded, and look at staffing analysis to make sure that we're providing a really sustainable park operation for the future to thrive. And then also look at expanding the impact and really providing diverse programming, look at ways that we can partner with underserved communities and making sure that we're providing resources to them and they have the ability to come and participate in programs and services that we offer. So I know that's a lot, but really what's next about the master plan process, which is what really excites me, is that we're looking at finalizing the master plan soon in the coming months. It's currently going through environmental review just to make sure that we're following any CEQA guidance and guidelines. And what we will be doing soon is really establishing policies and making sure that we as staff have the ability to understand what's important, what we need to prioritize, and how we make sure that staff from a policy level perspective can have the resources that they need to really start implementing the master plan. We will also look at evaluating our current resource options, see if there's ways that we can go out and apply for future grant funding or work with other organizations in town to acquire grants or additional funding sources so that we can really implement the master plan, all with the goal of enhancing the park system. In the 3 months that I've been here, the park and recreation system is great. We have fantastic staff that are really, truly care about our system and everything that we do. And it's exciting that we have a really engaged community that wants to be involved in the system and really look at making things better. And so we need to make sure from a staff level as well is that we're taking that into consideration. We're putting ideas and programs in place where we can provide and gather feedback so that we know that we're staying on task with the master plan and moving this along. And a call to action really for all of you and your residents in your respective neighborhoods is we want you to participate in our programming. We want you to be aware that of what we have going on, all of our camps and after school activities and our swim center operations and the skate park. And we want you to be able to share that with your neighborhoods so that people know of everything that we offer and that we're getting a lot more attendance into our sites. And we also want you to stay connected with us. And we can do a much better job in being able to market and promote everything that we have going on, but it's going to be really helpful for you all to help share the information that we have so that you all are well connected in everything that we have upcoming in the future. And then, I don't know, it was just a question and answer slide. But regardless, I know Teresa had mentioned a couple of other things just for everybody to be aware of is Barristo Park, we have our playground grand opening that will happen on April 10th. And we're currently generating a flyer and we'll get that out. I'll share that with Denise so she can share that with you all as well. We're also currently working to secure the temporary pickleball court location. We're working with the College of the Desert right now for their temporary campus. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Could have missed the dog picture. But we're working with the College of the Desert with their temporary campus on Barristo and Hermosa. They have some vacant tennis courts that they're not using. And so we're going to come in and resurface, redo those courts into pickleball courts. And that'll be our temporary pickleball court location. So we're in final agreements and talks with them right now, but we hope to have that done and solidified in the coming months because the Dubuque pickleball court expansion project will happen very shortly. We're also getting a lot of feedback, and this is great timely for this dog park picture, about the conditions of our current dog park facilities. And so we We will be hosting a dog park community meeting on March 27th at the Palm Springs Pavilion at 5 p.m. for anybody interested in hearing about our future plans of the Dubuque Park dog park expansion, but also some of the concerns that we have going on here at the David Reddy Dog Park. So some of those are some quick items that we have coming up, but I'm happy to answer any other questions that you all may have.
I want to piggyback on the dog park thing. I have a very active dog who enjoys dog parks. We've had an opportunity to visit other dog parks, other cities, etc. I rate ours as a D-. It's just a mess all the time. It's either muddy or smelly or full of flies. Are there any plans both to improve that park and possibly add another park or parks to our city, or better parks? You know, it's really a disgraceful park when we compare it with Venture Mirage, Desert, etc., etc. I'll cut it short. You get my gist.
Yeah, I understand your gist, and I completely understand, and I hear you on that. And what everyone is, and we're gathering data right now, but a bigger, clearer picture is our dog park gets a significantly large amount of use compared to neighboring cities. And so that is something that is really, detrimental to the condition of our facilities, because we have a lot of people coming through the dog park here at City Hall, but also getting a lot of not only people, but dogs themselves utilizing the park, kicking up the grass and the dirt and making a lot of mess. It deteriorates the facility. That is the purpose of this dog park community meeting, is to really gather feedback, but also to share with the community members statistics of why our facility looks the way it does and why it just gets a lot more higher use. I'm not gonna limit the amount of people coming to the dog park, because that's not realistic, but we need to tell that story a little bit more so everyone understands. What we will also do is gather feedback so we can understand a maintenance schedule and tell everybody what the current maintenance schedule is, and look at other reseeding options and things that we can do with the grass there. And then also share, because of the high use that we get here at the City Hall Dog Park, why we're putting plans in place to really renovate and make Dubuque Park, the small and the large dog park there, really great facilities. Now that's going to come with time, but those are one of the reasons also why we're spending a lot of money and sought out grant funding to enhance those facilities.
I'm sorry, that public meeting was March 27th?
It is March 27th at 5 p.m.
At the pavilion.
Yeah, and we have a flyer of that too, and I can share that with Denise to get that with you all. Okay. Yes.
Relocation of the football courts. We've had Parks and Rec been in touch with the Encore or 48 at Barristo neighborhoods, HOAs. They've got some concerns about parking and overcrowding and noise in that particular area. And how long is this going to be temporary?
Yes, so it is temporary, and we will be engaging with that neighborhood organization. We just haven't yet because we haven't solidified that agreement yet. So we're currently in talks with them, but it is on our list to make sure we're talking with that neighborhood.
Sure. On Engage Palm Springs, will those maps be available? We can see them on that site?
Yes, it's not currently on Engage Palm Springs yet because the plan isn't 100% finalized. So in the coming months, once we finalize the master plan and take that through the city council for their final approval, we will then post that on Engage Palm Springs. We'll have that posted on our recreation website, and we'll share regular updates with the Park and Recreation Commission. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm sorry.
Did you say the 15 trailheads that the Park and Recreation only manages the trailhead itself, correct?
Correct.
Access to the trail.
Correct. We only manage the trailheads, not the trails themselves. Correct. Yeah, the trails are managed by the tribal lands. Great. Well, thank you all very much for having me this evening. Appreciate it.
All right. Let's talk about some events. And the next one is very soon. Come on, Joy. Got the picnic. Who else going to the picnic? I should see every hand in the room. Good, good. How about booths, neighborhood booths? Oh, good. That's better. Good. And I'm not going to steal your report.
Okay, that's good. Well, this report said less, but we have 15 neighborhoods that have booths at the picnic. And so I want to say thank you for that. And I really want you to understand Paula probably remembers, we started, okay, well, old Paula would have remembered, that when we started this picnic, it was for you. It was for the neighborhoods, not necessarily for the city, and not necessarily for any vendors or anything like that. We were doing this for you because we know how important it is for you to know your neighbors, for you to interact and engage with your neighbors. And that is how this picnic started. So I'm very glad to see that we have 15 neighborhoods so far. Some haven't paid yet, so there might be more, but I'm only counting those that paid. So I'm excited. Thank you very much for that. We're going to be judging for the best booth with cash prizes, hopefully, depending on my next thing here. So far we've raised $8,300, but we still need $1,000 to cover all the costs. We have 4 great food vendors. This year we have burritos, sandwiches, empanadas, and teriyaki bowls. So we've gone ethnic. And so that's where a big part of the funding goes, is to pay for those meals that you're getting at lunch. So if anybody would like to donate some more money or have a booth or,
How much did we raise last year in the, at this meeting?
At this meeting last year, we raised a lot of money, okay? So anyway, so.
Do you remember?
It was a lot.
I remember that.
So if you all throw in like a $20 bill, no pressure.
So if anybody would like to donate any money, we would sure appreciate it. It adds up fast. I'm gonna match you on that.
Okay, well, he's gonna.
Okay. Oh, well, now we got triple. Okay, well, look, now we only need $970. Tail waggers, Pet Supplies, they're donating the first prize bags for the dog contest, so bring your pups. Dress them up. Ooh, $20 here. Okay, no stripper jokes.
Yeah.
So bring your pups and dress them up for an even better chance to win. Remax is having the balloon again. However, we need a couple more pickup trucks that can hold down that balloon. His kids have gone to college and moved out of the house and just don't want to help him anymore. So we need volunteers that might have a truck that could help hold down that ginormous helium balloon. So if you are that person, please let Denise know, because we are looking pretty hard for that. So we are also, oh yeah, if we can't locate the trucks, we may not be able to have the balloon. Am I supposed to say that, or was that just in my notes?
We might have a vehicle here. What time does that person have to be here? What time did they set up?
I thought you make that up.
I'll make it.
Yeah, Denise makes that up. I'm not on time for anything. And we're also celebrating the 20th anniversary of 1PS at the picnic. And it's our 16th annual picnic. So come out and just enjoy it, have a lot of fun, and get to know your neighbors and get to know people that aren't even your neighbors. And just see what the city has to offer too. We have a lot of great booths. The police, I don't even know how many booths the police have at this point. Lots. Fire department is there. A lot of organizations will be there too that you could ask questions to, find out more about the city. But you just really have to remember this. You are very important, and don't forget it. You know, even in the downtown meetings, I always remind them how important the locals are. You are our bread and butter.
Look at this. Thank you, everybody.
And we really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Are you coming to the picnic meeting tomorrow?
I can.
You can bring that.
I can bring it.
Okay, he'll bring that to the picnic meeting tomorrow. Okay, and if you have any questions, please feel free to call me or email me. It's almost over. You'll stop hearing from me about the picnic for a couple months at least. And just know, this is for you. We make this party for you, because you're important. Thank you.
And you said it was the 16th annual picnic, right? And our 20th anniversary is, it's in your notes. Okay, so we're 20 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
We're just growing up.
Not old enough to drink.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Fall, we're on the fall now. We're just trying to get through spring.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Scheffler. I'm the vice chair. But what I have historically done for 1PS is last year I ran the house tour, if you recall. Very successful. We had a lot of fun. But I think a lot of the neighborhoods have been taking advantage of doing the house tours for their individual communities. We had, I think, over a dozen this Modernism Week. What 1PS historically has done is on the weekend, the Modernism Weekend in October, we had a house tour. This year we're going to change it up a little bit. And what we've thought through and thought up is a historical walk through downtown Palm Springs. And basically it's going to be hitting some places that you probably walked by 100 times, 1,000 times perhaps if you've been around for a while, but I've never really gone into. Some of them you might well know, but not all of them. So the ones that we're going to be looking at and have already committed to us as far as being part of this tour will be including the Wellwood Murray Memorial Library right there at the corner of Tockwitz and Palm Canyon. We're going to get a sneak peek at the Plaza Theater. Obviously, it's undergone an enormous renovation here, and by October, it's going to be ready to not yet put on shows because those start in December, as Jeffrey said. But pretty much the theater will be finished, or most of it will be done. I think they'll still be working on the sound system and stuff like that. But we're able to see the lobby and also inside the auditorium, which is basically being repurposed or reinvigorated, revitalized to its original look from 1936. So it's going to be an exciting time, and the tour will be one of the first people to be able to see it. We'll also be able to go into the O'Donnell Golf Club's main building. I know you've walked around O'Donnell. I don't know how many people have been in there, but it's a stunning home. It was Thomas O'Donnell's house when he had the O'Donnell house up on the hill, but when he got older and was not as mobile, they built that house, which ultimately became the clubhouse up against the mountain. The golf course won't be active then. It's during the overseeding period. And so we'll be able to walk in through the gates there on Amato and see the course. It's beautiful. And we might even see a longhorn sheep herd too as well. So there's a lot of, I think it will be fun to perhaps get some photographs. Don't get too close to them, though we want to leave them alone. Also on the tour will be the American Legion Post. It's at Alfred Fry Building, which is passed by many, but not really, you don't really know the history of it. It was set up by Nellie Kaufman, who was the founding founding mothers of Palm Springs, and she owned the Desert Inn, and then ultimately also opened the American Legion Post after the Second World War. And it was also the home of the Kraft Music Hour, which was a big popular radio show. I'm sure nobody remembers radio, but it was a big deal. A lot of major performers came through that theater, and they still have the control room all set up too. So that's going to be, I think, fun. We have two more that are kind of on the bubble. Temple Isaiah, of course, Saturday is a day of worship for the Jewish community. But we'll hopefully see if we can get take a peek at the sanctuary on the west side of the building, which looks at the mountain. It's just a stunning room. And we're working on a couple of other ideas too. So here's my ask today. Here you got the little gist of what we're trying to do in October, and make the point of it's October 18th. What I'd like to do is ask for some committee members to help me work and plan this. And so it's I'm not doing the only one doing the work. So please, if you are interested, let me know, and we'll start working as a committee to get this all rolling. But this is the major fundraiser for this organization each and every year. And hopefully it will also be some fun for us to see some history of Palm Springs. We get a lot more moolah. Yeah. Anyway, any questions? Excellent. Good.
$445. Thank you all. And I hear there's some Venmo and Zelle contributions coming in. I'm giving it to the treasurer, being witnessed. It's in her safe hands. Thank you all. That's very kind. Pride, that's even further away in the future. I think I heard, and the mayor's not here to confirm it, I think they moved Pride a week forward. It's no longer the first weekend in November, it's the second this year. So let's see, what did we talk about at the board meeting? We are talking about 1PS t-shirts, which we used to have, but we should get some more. Blade signs, but the styrofoam kind. And we would need volunteers to carry maybe one or two. So if you're interested, you don't have to run up here now, but let me know if you're interested in participating. It's something fun we haven't done before or in a long time. And we'll celebrate neighborhood pride with Pride. So more to follow on, oh yeah, November 9th, I think is the date. So not much has changed that. All right, and to keep on schedule here, we're gonna move to our city department reports. And I see we have a new addition to the fire department or the police? We have a little fire. Okay, well, we're gonna have police first then, and Gus. I thought you had a dog, Gus. No?
Not at home.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, everybody. Let me put this down over here. Just wanted to highlight some of the work that's been going on in the city. We've been pretty active. You know, there was a discussion about the TOT tax and a lot of these special events that were coming in. But before I get into that, I just want to talk about general safety and being aware of what's going on in the neighborhood. Shortly after our last meeting, we put out a social media post because one of the residents in the Las Palmas area had found a concealed camera in their yard. So essentially what it was a device that had its own power. It was a camera, likely set up via Wi-Fi. And what we're seeing, or what we've learned, that there's a trend that we see in kind of the LA area. As a matter of fact, I believe as LA Times put out a story related to the Chino Hills area, but they took this double-sided tape, wrapped this camera, the battery pack and everything around that device, and then they took grass and kind of stuck it onto the double-sided tape and then concealed it. So based on the intel that we're getting is, and not to say that there's any information that it's related to what the intel says, but Chilean and Colombian nationals that essentially do surveillance on homes develop a pattern on when the residents are there and usually target it for burglaries. So one of those things, you kind of got to be tech savvy to be able to identify these things, but just one of those things to be aware. The one from Chino Hills, it looked like a little nest, like a bird's nest, and there was a camera kind of embedded at that. But I just want to make everybody aware, one of the things you do, like a tech way, is you could probably, on the exterior of your home, turn on your phone, look for Wi-Fi service, and then probably target in on where that signal gets strong. So, you know, generally where there's not going to be Wi-Fi service, and if it's like in a planter, that might tell you that something's going on out there. But just wanted everybody to be aware. But getting into kind of the special events, we're staffing wise, we're still looking for officers, dispatchers, and community service officers. You know, we say our best recruiting team is our own department, but it's also the community. So if you know anybody, whether it be family or friends with family that are interested in this profession, please encourage them to apply. Open application for law enforcement. They don't need any experience. Ideally, I mean, it does help to rank them, but as we go through the process, go through the background, we'll put them through an academy, get them trained up. I think I've told everybody in the past, typically from hire for a trainee, by the time they're out in the field by themselves, is about a year. So what we're finding, sometimes we're getting applicants in, find out it's not for them, and so they move on. But we do have openings there in the same respect with dispatch. Honestly, dispatch is like one of the harder jobs because you deal with everything over the phone. If you're fortunate enough, you have a team of officers that provide you the closure, kind of tell you how the call ended, but a lot of times you're dealing with emergencies, and unless you get proper feedback from the people that are out there, you have a tendency not to understand exactly what happened on that call. But we participated in the Tour of the Palm Springs, and shortly after that event, the following week, is the National Gay Pilots Association. They had a convention in town, so we had people dedicated to that. Last meeting, I talked about the rap events, which was rallies, assemblies, and protests. We had a very big one in front of City Hall. I think there was 2 different groups that went over there, and it's easily over 500 people. Peaceful event. Kind of funny seeing some of the supporters driving by in Teslas and having people in the crowd booing the Tesla. And it was lighthearted the way they were doing it, but it was I got a chuckle out of it. Talk about Palm Springs like no place else, but getting those impressions out there. So getting Palm Springs on everybody's mind. We did a couple film shoots, security on film shoots. Inbound 111 for Lululemon. It looks like they were filming a commercial. And there was another athletic clothing brand, Athleta, that was in town and kind of doing the same thing. They had individuals running on the streets, so there's photographers capturing that. I myself like it when I watch movies or shows. One of the most recent ones, like Lincoln Lawyer. I don't know if anybody watches that on Netflix. I think it was season 3. He's going to take a break. He's going to vacation at Palm Springs. So I was always like, yeah, when they say Palm Springs. Or I point at the TV and my wife's like, okay, whatever. The weekend of the 21st, a lot of traffic in town. That was during the weekend of modernism. We had the Black History Parade going on. In the same respect, so we had personnel dedicated those. A lot of complaints about traffic, and fortunately, we had Jasmine from Parks and Rec calling, wanted us to escort some buses. We didn't really have the personnel to do that, but fortunately, the problem resolved itself. But we also had the McCormick's auto auction in town during that event. One of the things we put out on social media is that we started this CBAT program, so it's a Community Behavioral Assessment Team. So we now have a clinician from Riverside Allied Health, partnered up with Josh Crocker. I don't know if anybody's met him. If you went through our program, our Community Policing Academy, likely would have met Josh through that, but the perfect pick for that. But essentially, we're actually, after we did the social media release, people are calling specifically asking for Josh. So there was a good message out there, but essentially help with the people in crisis. We do have repeat, I want to call them offenders, let's just call them customers that need our attention, and those officers that are out there. This team's going to have that specialized training so they can look at long-term solutions, also do it like a case management where they try to provide resource, develop that trust, and get them resources that they need. We had a couple of grant-funded UI checkpoints. First one was on the 28th, and the other one was on March 7th and 28th of February. In the same respect, we had another grant-funded overtime assignment where officers are pairing up with some of the loss prevention staff at our big box retail stores. That's coming off that crime prevention grant that we got the retail theft operations. Another event that was in town, they had a convention for the International Jewelers Show. So these are like jewelers that sell at wholesale to like jewelry store owners. So we had security there. A lot of money in jewelry there, very flashy. So I think some people upgraded some rings for wives over there. So aside from that, we do have we just got over another protest over the weekend. Anticipate about 500 related to the 2 groups that we had at City Hall. It turned out to be about 200. That was peaceful, and that was in the downtown area. So with that, a lot of stuff going on. Super excited. Obviously, we got the festivals coming into town, which will bring more people into town, take some of our resources to help out Indio. We'll report on that next month. So any questions?
A website for the job openings.
So it is governmentjobs.com, and you typically find anything related to Palm Springs on there. So whether it be the police department or other open positions in the city, that's what you'll find it.
How do we find out more about that CBAT and Josh Crocker?
So call our non-emergency line, 327, or actually it's Joshua Crocker. Hold on, let me make sure it's not Josh instead of Joshua. But it's a standard city email. It's going to be joshua.crocker@palmspringsca.gov. So if you want to email them directly, you can provide some more information. Otherwise, you can get a hold of me. It's at gustavo.araiza. Any more? All right, thank you all. See you next month.
Okay, fire. And this is Apollo, I think? No?
This is Max.
Max, oh, okay. Hello, Max. And Ron. You okay? All right.
Introduce Max. We'll say the best for last, right? The Max. Not okay. Good evening, everybody. How you guys all doing? First things first is we are in recruitment phase right now, so we're hiring 7 to 10 firefighters or firefighter paramedics. Applications were all submitted. We had our closing dates recently. Myself and Deputy Chief Van Lyric went through 300. Well, we had a total of about 1,000 applicants, which is super good. There's a lot of departments hiring nearby and within our like 90 to 120 mile radius. So that being said, we were able to narrow it down after the city and the state reviewed the applications down to about 350. So myself and Chief Van Lyric went through the 350 applicants and we narrowed them down even more. And we have some good applicants. We've got firefighters from other cities, firefighters from outside the state, former military, and et cetera. So what's going to happen is after those applicants are all narrowed down even more by the city, we're going to have oral interviews with fire captains, and then they're going to have paramedic assessments, and then it'll eventually get to the fire chief, and then after that, the city will offer these people jobs with the Palm Springs Fire Department. So that's super exciting, especially since having new firefighters on the floor is always good for us more senior guys as well, because it increases our training as well, and builds a strong foundation for the city and for years to come. Secondly, it's raining outside, right? So drive safe, but it's hiking season, and we've already had a few hiking calls. Maximus, no. And had a few hiking calls. Just we're going to get more PSAs out there to make sure that everybody's safe. And but remember, you got to hydrate before you go hiking. You have to hydrate during your hike, and hydrate after the hike. Very important. I would highly recommend before you go hiking in these mountains, or before the season comes upon us in terms of the heat, go see your doctor and ask him how much electrolytes and water you need in order to replenish yourself. Because everybody differs. Everybody differs. Secondly, make sure when you go hiking that you bring a partner with you. In the fire service, we always have a partner. So if you happen to go down, your partner there is there to help, right? And lastly, make sure you're beating the heat. So start early in the morning or later in the evening, meet the sunrise, okay? Because it gets hot real quick as soon as you start hiking that mountain. But other than that, the mountains are beautiful, so enjoy what we've got here. We're grateful. And lastly, we have our new K9. He's a facility dog, so he's we call him a working dog. His name is Maximus. He is turning his head to you guys for some reason right now, but he's a good dog. He's a year and a half in age. He's a Labrador. What's cool about Maximus is right now he's super mellow with the vest on. As soon as he takes the vest off and we take it off, he becomes a madman. So right now, when he's got just a little insight on it, so when he's got his red collar on, that means he's in like a training mode. So sometimes he doesn't have the black vest on. But when he's got just the red collar on, that means he's in training mode. Hey, sit, lay, and etc. Heel. There he goes out. Yeah, right. And then when he's got his vest on, he is he's a working dog. So that means he's like in a formal atmosphere. So like right now, we've got the vest on him. That means like basically behave. Behave on your best manner, right? And then lastly, I've got 2 daughters and a wife at home. My daughters asked me, well, what's his favorite color? And I'm like, I don't know, I guess blue. Well, the reason I said blue is because when the red collar's off and the vest is off, he becomes like a normal dog.
He's crazy. He's a puppy. So he'll run all over the house and calm down, dude. But he's a great dog. Anytime y'all want to visit him or anything, come down to Station 2. You're going to see him on TV. You're going to see him on social media. You're going to see him here all the time. He's here to spread light and bring happiness to people. He was just out there with some kids recently. So if you do use social media on Instagram, his handle is Maximus_in_action. So Maximus in action. So that's it from the fire department. Yeah, on my end. Other than that, any questions? Any questions?
People might have questions for Maximus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that him?
No, it looks like.
No, it does look like it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not him. But he's a good boy, and it's been a pleasure. I've had him for about a month now. A lot of support on the city end in terms of being new and being. So I've owned dogs in the past, but being a new handler, having resources and easy to purchase things makes it a lot easier for me as a handler, just because it's like having a baby. Like I said, I have 2 daughters. I mean, every morning, 4:30 to get ready to work, I got to hook him up, bring him outside. He's got to go potty. I sit there in the front yard. The neighbors are looking, what's going on with this guy at 4:30 in the morning, right? Got to lift him up, put him in the truck, but it's all worth it because he's fun. It doesn't actually take that much energy because the city was so inclined to purchase him from a company that has him already trained. So I didn't have to do much. Give him a treat here and there. He's super happy. The thing that makes me most nervous is last week we had a police fire luncheon, and I was getting an award up on the stage in front of, I don't know, a couple hundred people at the event, and he starts doing a circle. And I'm like, oh no, circle means he needs to go. I'm sitting there, I'm just dropping treats, and I'm like, come on, dude. My wife's looking at me, you want to take him? I'm like, no, we'll hold him. So he ended up doing well. So that's it. So, go ahead.
Does he ever get a chance to play with Izzy, the police?
He was just playing with her about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, so they know each other well.
Yeah, that was actually the first time. We were sniffing each
really?
other out, and
Oh.
yeah. He does well with other dogs so far. I try not to bring him around other non-working dogs, just because I don't know who those dogs are, what they don't have in terms of immunizations and et cetera, and the training. But I know Izzy's a good dog, so it's like, okay. So.
He's a good girl.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Of the 1,000 applications, how many people are you trying to hire?
Yeah, 7 to 10. Yeah. And that could vary and that could change, but that's the general range. And we're looking for firefighters and firefighter paramedics. Great. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Oh.
I have a question, Mr. Manning. Your March cert is full?
Yeah, so the March cert class, which is our last one of the year before it gets too hot to do training, we have room for 32 students. I've got 43 people registered. And I told everybody just come because we all know that sometimes people don't show up to things. So hopefully you get 43 people and I'll bring in some folding chairs. I think the LA Fires really put not to use a bad pun, but a kindling under people to get training. So besides Maximus, the city has 2 other dogs. We have Izzy and what else does PD have? Finley. So if you're ever in need of professional canine support, both PD and fire have that. And Ron already talked about the rain outside. He talked about the heat. He's probably going to apply to be the other emergency management person that we have, which should actually hit the streets by summertime. So after 5 years of pushing, I'm finally going to get some help. And as we've all heard, March and April are meeting months. So every Saturday I've been busy and I'm getting the same questions of, what is a go bag and an emergency kit? There's a lot of misconception that this laundry list of things has to go with your go bag. That doesn't make sense. Right? A go bag is, I've made a decision after figuring out what's going on that I'm leaving. And so you need enough food and water to get to wherever you're going. Now, if you're trying to escape on a road that's jam-packed like a hurricane, leaving Florida, you might need a few snacks. But if you're just trying to leave town, have enough food and water to get you out of town. Everything else is if you're sheltering in place, having stuff in and around your house. Does it help to have it consolidated? Sure, if you have a closet that's handy, that's structurally sound, but you know what food you have in your pantry, that's your emergency food. The can of soup that you walk past and never eat, that's emergency food. So your go bag doesn't have to be a 42-inch rolling suitcase. Small duffel bag with enough stuff to get you out of town, change your clothes, and that's what you need. We did put that on social media, yes.
And crank can opener.
And a manual of can opener, yes. And any questions for Maximus? Sir.
Maximus is from Guide Dogs of the Desert, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to give him a shout out because they're a great local nonprofit.
Go get the picnic.
Yeah, yeah, they're a great group. So
Great resource. They offer great training too. There's he's going to be attending bagpipe training and cortisol training. So we're going to have the ability to smell hormones to help people out. So when he goes out on an assignment, these large campaign fires. He's actually the fires in LA he was at. It was the biggest campaign fire that we've had for this dog to attend. So he's already had the experience. He passed with flying colors, but he was able to look at a fireman and go, bingo, I need to go hang out with you. He identifies and hangs out. Gives him a smile, takes their mind off the fire and the destruction going on, give them some happiness for a few minutes, and move on.
All right, see everybody at the picnic.
Hey, Chris, can I make a real quick comment?
Yes, please.
Before you guys leave. Okay, so our captain here,
Yes, there was a police and fire appreciation luncheon last week at the convention center. And I just want to say congratulations again to Captain Ronnie for, he was given the company citation, his social media team. 3 other firefighters along with himself were given the company citation for all the job work they've done on the social media. They've upped their game since you came on. It's amazing. The reels and everything, we can't even keep up with you. So shout out to you. Big congratulations. Proud of you. Yeah, one more thing. And then big shout out to Rick Weingard. You're still here, right? My buddy, Sparky the Fire Dog. He received the 2024 Citizen of the Year Award at the luncheon. So really proud of him. He's always out there doing picnics, dressed up as Sparky the Fire Dog and all these hot, power games and other things. So just want to shout out my friends. So this will be my minutes. So I'll defer. Yes.
Thanks. Sure.
Thank you. Well, she's here.
Hi, everyone. Long time no see. I know you've had the pleasure of seeing Benito from our team a number of months, but to get me this week, so I'm going to try to go through our lightning round. So I'm actually going to start with an interactive activity. This is called Recycle Quiz. So we have a blue bin in the back that I tote over from my office to make sure that we can separate appropriately. Can everyone hold up something that is recyclable that goes in that blue bin? So I'm seeing a lot of waters. Okay, so I'm seeing a few things that are recyclable and a few things that aren't recyclable. So I want someone to tell me of the things that you're seeing around, which one maybe is not recyclable. Coffee cup. Who wants to tell me why that coffee cup is not recyclable?
Coated.
Yeah, so it's got a couple of, it's probably got a little wax coating in there to make it so that the liquid doesn't leak all the way through and spill all over everybody. It's got a couple of different mixed papers on there. So just a fun fact, usually coffee cup is probably not recyclable. Liz, is that correct? Okay, thank you, Liz. And so y'all can do me a favor and maybe keep those ones out. Any other things that are not recyclable that you noticed? Yes. Lids on the plastic bottles. So Liz, can you clarify if the lid is screwed onto the bottle, is it okay or no?
You can remove it.
Yeah, so remove the lids preferably, and also please don't put it in full of water because I have to pour it out on a plant. So if you can pour it out on a plant, that's cool. I can also do it later, but you can do it. So any of those agendas or flyers can go in, any of those water bottles can go in, preferably empty with no caps. So Great, thank you for the recycle quiz minute. Okay, that's that. It is Earth Month starting in April, so you are going to have a lot of chances to hang out with me and my team. The first chance that you have is March 29th. We are doing our second community cleanup, and we're kind of rotating through the districts in the city. So this one is in District 2. Y'all probably know, especially if you live up there, that vacant lot area kind of near the Del Taco, like sort of between Indian and Palm Canyon. So that's where we're going to be. On March 29th from 9 to noon, we have really snazzy yellow shirts. If you sign up on Eventbrite, we will bring you a shirt. And it's a really good time. It's a good opportunity to meet your neighbors and work together. So if you're interested, we have that posted on social media and on Engage, but we can recirculate that with Denise's notes for that sign up. Everyone's favorite new event, pre-shredding, is back starting March 31st at City Hall. Does March have a 31st? Yes. Okay, sorry, I had to check myself there for a sec. It is going to be exactly where it was last time, which I believe was in the courtyard with that kind of secured bin. So please keep bringing shredding, only shredding though. We can't take e-waste or bulky items at that event, just shredding. Oh. At pre-shredding?
Oh, no, not
Yeah, we'll get that one, yeah. What's that? Does the paper say what? About pre-shredding? So you can bring e-waste and bulky items to the Saturday event on April 5th. Yeah, so at the convention center, at the proper event, you can bring bulky items and e-waste on April 5th. But if you bring a couch to us at City Hall on April 1st, we will just sit on it. So please save that for Saturday. So again, pre-shredding starts on Monday, March 31st. And that goes Monday through Thursday. It aligns with our opening hours there at City Hall, which are 7:30 to 5:30. And then on Saturday, April 5th at the Convention Center, we will be shredding once again. And that is shredding, bulky and e-waste, all on Saturday, April 5th. No medical waste, please. That has to go to HHW. Okay, final thing I want to talk about before I pivot to leaf blowers. Does anybody have any questions about shredding or other events? Oh, we're probably going to do something really fun for Earth Day and Arbor Day on the 26th, but we aren't finished planning it yet. So just hold April 26th and come. It's going to be fun. Okay, so I'm going to talk about leaf blowers for a second. So you've heard me talk about leaf blowers before. So the Sustainability Commission, which number of members are in this room? Do you want to raise your hands, Sustainability Commission members? So everybody knows who to blame for this, just kidding. Okay, so we have 3 members here. A reminder, they're doing an expanded focus on education about this ordinance because we do still see a small persistent number of gas-powered leaf blowers in use here in Palm Springs. This was prohibited by ordinance in 2019. So only leaf blowers are prohibited by that, gas-powered leaf blowers. Technically, you can still use a gas-powered lawnmower, but I'll get back to that in a second. So since 2019, the use of gas-powered leaf blowers is not allowed here in the city. The justification for that is reducing noise and air pollution from those blowers, both for the neighborhood, but also for the people using the equipment. So you'll know if you've been running a gas leaf blower for a while, it gets a little chewy in the air there. The ordinance is pretty tricky to enforce, like a lot of these things, because we have to see you use it. We can't just kind of say, we heard that you were using this, because somebody could come back and say, like, well, where's your proof? I don't have one, etc. So our code enforcement team does have to see you using it, which is why also the power of social suggestion is very helpful. So the more that we can rely on our neighborhoods to continue to enforce this message, the more that we'll get rid of that 80% of people who just didn't know. We've probably got some holdouts who are just waiting for that code enforcement violation to come, but a lot of times people just didn't know. So we're working on that too. Homeowners do receive that fine if a gas-powered leaf blower is seen being used on that property. So it's kind of like with any other code enforcement issue, like a vacation rental or whatever, that fine comes to you, and you can choose to pass that on to your gardener or whoever, but the fine comes to the homeowner first. Yes.
Can you use this to report?
You can use the My Palm Springs app to report, correct.
Take a picture and post it, and you put a dot on where you are at.
Exactly, and so that gives you a location, a timestamp, and a photo, and that can be very helpful, especially if there's a company and you can get a picture of the truck that has the name or the phone number of the company. That can be very helpful. It's a little bit tricky. Yes.
How much is the fine?
So the fine, I believe, starts at $150 and escalates to $500 on subsequent offenses. So it does add up. And so members of the commission are going to be out and about and stepping up some education around this and communications to get more compliance. So you're going to see some yard signs placed around some neighborhoods. So Sunrise Park is going to be one of our guinea pigs there, and doing more communications in social media and in local press. So we do have rebates available. We have our $750 rebate still available for people who purchase an electric leaf blower. I believe you do have to have a business license in order to get that, so it's really targeted at those landscapers. However, I did bring some flyers also from the Air Quality Management District, who also has a rebate for all electric lawn equipment. So that includes hedge trimmer, lawnmower, etc. So if you either are a resident or maybe your HOA has a landscaping company or something, and you are interested in learning more about those rebates, come talk to me. They're a little bit complicated. I'm not going to get into it here, but if you want to know more about that, you can come talk to me after. And that's all I have to say about leaf blowers and Earth Party. Any questions?
Yes. One day, our gardener said that the electric leaf blowers are extremely inefficient. Batteries wear out, batteries get stolen a lot.
Yeah, so this is something we have seen the technology improve a lot since 2019, but it's still maybe not quite at parity, especially for a commercial landscaper. One of the things that you can do with our rebate is buy the rechargeable battery packs. So we do also allow those. Those generally come in at about $1,300. So our $750 rebate gets you about half of that back. We also really want to encourage homeowners to make a charging port available for gardeners. So if you have access to an outlet, make sure they know where it is. Make sure they know it's okay to charge there. Because we do also hear from gardeners sometimes like, yeah, well, I would have charged my battery, but like the homeowner doesn't let me, or I don't know, I don't want to ask them or something. I know probably nobody in this room would do that, but the more that they know, even maybe they can charge for their next house or something like that. They have good access to a place to charge. That can also help, especially as the weather gets warmer and those batteries run down faster. But yeah, they can come to us and get a rebate for that battery pack so they can get some more batteries as well.
Thank you. Sochi. Sochi with water. You're always welcome in the front row too. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. So just a couple of quick items that we wanted to update you guys on. I know Victoria was here last month, and I'm pretty sure she mentioned our new billing system that we are upgrading. Okay, well, there is an informational sheet that everyone, if you're a DWA customer, will be getting. And I'm not sure if anyone is a My DWA, you know, if they have a login to My DWA, which is our customer portal. If you tried to log in today, you probably didn't have any luck. Sorry about that. As we go through this transition of upgrading our billing system and our customer portal, you know, we've run into a couple of minor, what would you call them, roadblocks. But tomorrow the system should be up and running. Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. But you know, the reason we're doing this is to upgrade our system and just to create a better customer experience for all of you guys. But so your March bills will have a new look to them, and you will have one of these in your bill, and it just has all the information on what to expect. So definitely keep an eye out for that. It's also on our website. You can go to dwa.org/billinfo, and there's a, you know, FAQ on, you know, if you have any questions, anything that might come up, please go there, and hopefully your questions will be answered. Yes, you can also grab some of these in English and in Spanish. So, and any questions on the new bill system or?
So can you send this to me and I'll post this as well? Can you
Oh.
send me an electronic copy of it?
Yes, we can. Thank you,
We
Denise.
did put it in our newsletter, but this needs more information, so that's great.
Okay, yes, we will do that. And you probably noticed in the most recent e-newsletter that Denise sends out, information on our pipeline projects. So the first one, the one in Racket Club Estates area, that one is underway. And that one should be completed by the end of March or mid-April. And then our second project in the historic tennis club and downtown area, that one should hopefully start the end of this month or early April. And that one should be completed by May or end of May. And there were some maps and information in the most recent e-newsletter that Denise sent out. So, and you can always go to our website for more information on our pipeline projects. So, thank you. Oh, question? Bill info. Bill info.
If you don't go to that, there's a menu on the right that says new bill.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, good to hear. I think that's it. Unless any other questions, we'll be back there. Thank you.
Almost done, Liz, thank you. Palm Springs Disposal.
Hi, everyone. I'll make it short again, I promise. I know everybody's ready to leave. I won't bore you. So a couple things. I know LP covered most of it. Well, in regards to shredding, when is shredding? April 5th. And we will be accepting bulk items pickup there at that location at the convention center. We will be there collecting that. And your bulky item cleanup for the week is that April 14th week to the 18th. Set out 2 bulky items out of the curb. You don't need to call PSES. It's a citywide cleanup. You just set it out by your curb or by the enclosure. We will collect those, no problem. Again, you don't need to call. We'll take care of it. And then one thing, I know we're working close with sustainability. In the past 2 weeks, we've had 2 of our waste trucks set on fire. Yes. And most of the time, this is due to batteries. Lithium batteries. So we all know our city has a battery program, correct? Everybody can drop off batteries at those locations. This will help prevent fires and pollute our beautiful city with smoke. Lithium batteries, yes. So sometimes batteries, the air tags, the small batteries from home. Yes, so lithium batteries do not go. I know they're small, like the watch batteries, all those little flat small batteries, they do not go in the trash. You can drop them off at a battery recycling location, which you can find city's website or on our website, which we'll make sure we have that and include that on our newsletter. Probably very dangerous, very important, hazardous waste to be properly disposed of, and that's one of the reasons for safety as well. And that was just one of those things I just wanted to cover. Any questions? No? No? Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yes, so I had another show and tell today. We kind of pushed it back. So last time I brought that up here, we had a small compact, truck, electric truck for collection. As you all know, we're working very hard to be first city in the valley to have those out here. It's a process. It's a small truck that we probably would use for the residential areas. However, this time we're trying to get one of the big trucks for the commercial side, the big trucks that we typically use. We just couldn't get them here with enough time for us to try. So we want to try summer, see how they do. And we're going to try and have one out again. If I have it next month, I hope to arrange it and everybody can see the big truck. Last time was a baby little truck. This time it'll be a big one. And everybody can see it. And if they have any questions, we'll be here myself to answer any questions. But yes, we'll be working hard on that. Thank you.
All right, any public comments before we head out into the rain, which we're not having right now? No public comments? Okay, well, thank you for your patience. Good luck at your NORD meetings. You'll see some of the board showing up. If you don't want us to speak, that's fine. And we'll see you back here in April.